If I hadn't seen my kids for 3 years, I wouldn't be okay mentally. Just the thought of it makes me anxious. And it's more than not seeing them. It's not knowing anything about them at all. Not knowing what they look like. Are they okay? What are they doing? Are they happy? Do they need me? How did this happen? I would feel the same way about my animals. Many of you know that my beloved Puck, one of my dogs, was called home in November. It would destroy me to not know if he was dead or alive. Does he need anything? The ache to be with him would be non-stop. It would be overwhelming. It would be infuriating to me, and it would be invasive. It would bring me to my knees. I wouldn't be able to survive that. To survive not being with my children, not knowing them, touching them, smelling them, not knowing what their rooms look like. My dog, my little dog who I had since he was 8 weeks old, the one that slept in my bed every night, the dog I loved on, I groomed, I took care of, I babied every day of his life since he was 8 weeks old, and I just don't care. I don't care if I'm there or not. That is disgusting. And when I tell you this, I'm not telling you something I read about. I'm not telling you about something I heard or a movie I saw. This is my real life. My ex, by his own choice, his own free will, gave up his children, gave up his animals, doesn't care. Now that's insane, and it's when I'm telling you this, because I'm trying to put myself, when I tell this to you, like when I'm telling you, if I couldn't see my kids, if I couldn't see my dog, I would not be okay mentally. I'm telling you this as if I'm being forcibly removed from my children, like I'm dead or I'm in jail. My ex is doing this on purpose. This is who he is. He is a narcissist. And the reason I'm telling you this is because if you are in an entanglement with a narcissist, your narcissist has this very potential. I want all of us to understand what we are really dealing with. Until we can truly understand what a narcissist is, we're going to be vulnerable to them every single day. We need to understand. I stayed with my ex for almost 20 years because I had hope and belief in him. I had hope and belief that he was somebody that he never was. Joe and I have had lots of conversations. I'm sorry, right now, I'm sitting here and my dog is next to me, Fiona, and she is snoring. So if you hear snoring, it is little Fiona here. I keep trying to wake her up a little bit so she'll stop, but she's my little buddy. So if you hear snoring, that's little Fiona. But Joe and I have talked many times about how narcissists are, and there's 2 conclusions we've come to. One, we realized we could really drive ourselves insane by trying to constantly understand the narcissist. How can they think that way? What are they doing? What's their thought process? You could do that, and you will. But the reality is you'll never, ever be able to understand fully. And that's the second thing that we've come to the realization about. It's good that we can't understand. Think about that. Would you want to be able to understand? Oh yeah, I can definitely understand why, somebody wouldn't want to be around their kids. Or I can definitely understand abandoning their family. I can definitely understand not caring, if your dog has cancer. Imagine, is that how you want to be? So it's better the latter, that, okay, we can't understand these things, these creatures, whatever you want to call them. My daughter calls them a husk. She calls them, I think I've mentioned this in the last 5 videos, but she calls them a husk, and we don't know what's inside. Or maybe, one time several years ago, I grew watermelon. I was trying to grow watermelon. I was so proud of these watermelons I was growing, you guys. So I had these watermelons. Now, my family doesn't really care for watermelon, but my chickens do. So here I was growing watermelons from my birds. I was so proud. And there was this one beautiful watermelon, you guys. It was gorgeous. It was this bright green watermelon and had this perfect yellow spot where it was touching the ground. I was so proud of this watermelon. I would thump it and wait till the perfect time to pick it. So one day I picked that watermelon. I cut it off the vine. I bring it in the house. I'm showing it off to everybody. Oh, look at my beautiful watermelon, you guys. And I'm so happy for my chickens who are about to get this great treat on a nice hot day. I open that baby up. There was not even one bit of red in there. It was completely green. There was nothing sweet in there at all. Now, to be fair to my birds, they did still eat it, but it was not what I expected it to be. And I think that's kind of how it is with the narcissist. It doesn't matter how they look on the outside. They never are who we expect them to be. And if we keep looking at them only from the outside and never seeing who they really are on the inside, we're going to be trapped in forever. Like, you won't leave the narcissist. The people who leave are the people who understand what they're dealing with, not who they're dealing with, what they're dealing with. Narcissists are liars. They are manipulators. All they want to do is cause mayhem. They want to hurt other people. So think about that. Remember, we don't have to understand it, but we need to know what we're dealing with. The way that my narcissist acted, the way he still acts, this is not a one-off. If you're with a narcissist, they all have this potential. They all have this potential. And what really bothers me is when I think I spent 20 years with somebody believing that they were somebody else when that person never existed. In the recovery stage, when you are coming to terms with being in a relationship with somebody who never existed, it's mind-blowing. And that's why the therapy, the way you get through this with a narcissist, it takes time, because it's a convoluted train of lies and a train wreck that you're trying to untangle. You're trying to live your life. It gets better though. But until you know what you're really dealing with, if I knew all those years, you guys, when I'm sitting here thinking that my ex is a good husband, or he can be a good husband, or he has the potential to be a great dad, I'm thinking all these things, all based on traits that aren't true to begin with. Narcissists are vile manipulators, but they know that they can't act that way and have you as the person in the relationship. Sorry, I said that weirdly. A narcissist can't act the way that who they really are and expect to be in a relationship with anybody. So they trick us. They're so kind, so perfect, so great at the beginning and periodically throughout the relationship entanglement, whatever you want to say. I used to believe there was a time, you guys. Now this is how your brain works. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what narcissists do to our brains. But there was a time I had convinced myself that when my ex was giving me a silent treatment, that he was doing it against his will. He didn't want to give me a silent treatment, but that he passed this point of no return, and he's so bad at communication. Poor guy, he's so bad at communication, and he doesn't know what to do. So maybe I can gently try to break this. Maybe I can make this better, because the poor guy, this is what I thought. All along, narcissists are manipulating us. All along. The reason I believed that my ex was doing this against his will is because he told me. I said to him one time, "Why do you give me a silent treatment? It hurts so bad." "I don't know why I do that." Sniffle, sniffle, a little cry. "I don't know. I know it's hurting you, and it hurts me, and I can't seem to stop." And I'm thinking to myself, "Aw, it's crazy. When I tell you this now, it's embarrassing. But this is the things that I thought. My ex would do horrific things. He was very abusive. He was abusive physically. He was abusive spiritually. He was abusive financially. And every time I would make an excuse up for him. Well, his dad was really mean to him when he was a kid. He doesn't know. He doesn't know not to be this way. And then I'll think about how he used to be, how he was so sweet at the beginning of our relationship. And he would buy me flowers and candy and write me poems. And he was so romantic. And I would tell myself, that's who he really is. That's the real him. That's how he was when I met him. It never occurred to me that, oh, he's lying to me. How he really is how he is when he's not being sweet. But instead, you always think that because we tend to believe that people are like us. If you are somebody who loves your family, if you're basically a good person, you're not going to understand or expect that people in your life are cruel and vindictive. Now, the narcissist does feel that way about you. They think that you are always faking and lying because nobody could be that good. That is how a narcissist thinks, but we do this exact same thing. Nobody would be this violent. Nobody would be this cruel. Nobody doesn't care about their children. Everybody loves their children. I stayed in an entanglement with somebody that didn't love his children, that didn't love me, because I was 100% convinced that the way he acted when he was pretending to be kind was who he really is. If you can understand what you're really dealing with, your life is going to be so much better. There's a couple things I want to say. One thing I had learned about narcissists is that they affect us. They can affect our brain. They can literally give us brain damage. Now, It is reversible, but you need to consider this is what's happening to you when you're with a narcissist. This is why it's just, I think personally, understanding what you're really dealing with is your ticket to success, because otherwise you're going to keep talking yourself out of it. Narcissists have the ability, with sustained mental abuse to us, to literally shrink our hippocampus and our amygdala. Those are areas in the brain that deal with memory, learning, emotions. You can grow into adulthood. If you've had this since you were a child, you grew up with a narcissist, you marry a narcissist, like many of us, maybe your own children are going through this right now, we are unable to handle emotions in adulthood because our brain has been so damaged by the mental abuse. Narcissists torture. That's what they do. They go in and they want to destroy you. They want you to be miserable. And all narcissists have that capability. You know, I had heard before, I think it's something for the DSM to be a narcissist, you have to have, I think I'm doing this off the top of my head. You have 9 traits, you need 5 of the 9. But the reality is, if it's 1 of the 9, it's too much. If you're with somebody that is cruel to you, that has the ability to give you silent treatments, that has the ability to physically hurt you, that has the ability to steal from your own children, that person is telling you who they really are. The way that people act every day, not on special occasions, is how they really are. And I'm going to tell you something about a silent treatment. This happened to me. Towards the end, my ex was giving me almost nonstop silent treatments. In our last Christmas together, he came home after giving me another silent. He was giving me silent treatment for, I don't remember how long at that point, maybe a month, 6 weeks. And I was so tense because I was trying to have Christmas for my children. I was trying to act like everything was great, everything was normal. Yay, I'm so happy to be celebrating. When in reality, I felt miserable. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach, and all I really wanted to do was go lie down in the corner. So my ex comes home from work, and I had the kids, and I was cooking, and he comes up to me, and he said, you know what? I want to have a great Christmas. Let's just put this behind us. The joy I felt at that moment. And it's a pathetic type of joy because, and you guys know, it's like a drug. It's like a high where all of a sudden it's over. I'm free. He's stopping. It was a great Christmas Eve. It was fantastic. The next day, he was right back to the silent treatment. Narcissists know what they are doing. They know everything that they're doing. So if you're with a narcissist and you think, well, yeah, but mine's not that bad, or he doesn't know, or he had a bad childhood, it doesn't matter. The reality isn't what happened to them. It's what is happening to you. My ex, during my entanglement, I had no friends, none at all. I told you earlier, right, that narcissistic abuse can shrink the hippocampus, shrink the amygdala. Narcissistic abuse can also cause you to think in ways that are completely unrealistic. My narcissist told me all the time that people didn't like me, all the time. Now, today, when I think about this, it's obvious to me what he was doing. He wanted to keep me away from other people. That's what narcissists do. They want you all to themselves. He never told me not to have friends. He never told me not to be with people. But what he would do is he would constantly, anytime I was around someone and he was there, he would say to me, oh, I saw the way so-and-so was looking at you. That is really a friend of me. It's not a friend. That's a friend of me. Or he would say, oh, I don't think she's really a friend. I saw her. She was like, stuck her tongue out at you behind your back or something like that. I believed it. This was my husband. This is the important thing to understand for many of us. The way we're thinking is natural. It's our husband, it's our wife, it's our boyfriend, our girlfriend, our mother, our father, whatever it is. You think this. You think, well, they would not lie to me. Of course not. It's not even, you don't even comprehend that. But I'm telling you, if it's a narcissist, this is all intentional. I stopped having friends. He didn't have to say a word. And today he could tell you, I never told her that. I never told her that. I wanted her to have friends. He could say that. He made it so that I did this work myself. Right? Just like I was the one that felt bad for him when he was giving me a silent treatment. I was the one that felt bad for him when he stole money from our kids. I'm the one that's always feeling bad. He can just go away and do whatever he wants because he has me worrying, that he has me taking care of his needs. He has me forgiving him, believing in him, knowing, telling myself, well, I know he's going to be better. He cried this time. He told me how sorry he was. I know he's going to be better. And he used to be this way. So it's really in him. The truth If you're with a narcissist, you know you're with a narcissist. You can never have a relationship of any value with a narcissist. They will destroy you. They will cause you brain damage. They will hurt your very soul. And this has nothing to even do with what it's doing to your children. I get it. I know it's horrible. This is a worst nightmare situation. And the reality, though, for that, I can hear my dog Fiona snoring. I don't know. Can you hear that? She's snoring. She's right next to me. There she is. So she's asleep. I told you I do my videos in the middle of the night. I got Belle and Fiona here next to me. But what I was going to say is that, you know, if you're with a narcissist, it's better, I think, to know the truth and to be able to make decisions on the truth, because it really is like if you had some tumor and you're afraid to go to the doctor, the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be. It doesn't get better. And if you're in a situation where you're like I was, hoping, dreaming, needing my ex to die, I mean, that was what had to happen. That was how it was going to get better. You've put the narcissist in full charge of your life. I never once said to myself, it wasn't until the very end, you guys, that after I'd been separated for 2 years, I never said to myself, of course you can leave him. You're a strong, capable woman. Of course you can move on from him. Of course you can have your own life. Of course you can take care of your kids. I never thought that. My focus was solely on the narcissist, solely on improving him, solely on getting him better, solely on asking God to please fix him. The truth, you have to fix yourself. You know how you hear these, I'll end it with this. You know, you hear these people that will be, you know, in an abusive relationship, and I'm thinking it traditionally. I know it's not always this way, but like, let's say it's a boyfriend and girlfriend, right? And the boyfriend is the abusive one. So he's abusing his girlfriend. She leaves. He sweet talks her. She comes back. Then she leaves. She comes back. She leaves. She comes back. She kicks him out. She lets him back over and over, right? Then we find out that at the end, he ended up like fatally hurting her. And we are sitting there like, oh, come on, how stupid could you be? Why would she go back to him? That's what we're doing. When we're with a narcissist, other people will be thinking that about us. Well, if he's so mean, if she's so vile, why is he with her? Why is she with him? The reality is that we come into this earth, we come into the world by ourselves, we leave by ourselves, and some of the toughest decisions in our lives have to be made by ourselves. But when we have kids and we have a life that we're ready to live, I am telling you, leaving a narcissist is going to be the best thing that you could ever do. But you got to get yourself to a good point first. You cannot be in the stage where you're going back, going back, like kicking them out, bringing them back, kicking them out, bringing them back. There has to be sustained knowledge of what you're dealing with, that this abuse is real, that it's hurting you, and you need to get into working on yourself. That's how you free yourself. The narcissist is only going to keep you trapped. So I hope sorry about that. I hope this helped. Thank you guys so much for listening. I am planning on doing a video with Joe over the weekend. We kind of went off track on our video last week, so I think we might actually continue on with parental alienation. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. And oh, today's big day today, you guys. Paris is publishing her second book, and I still have to give away copies of her first book. So look for that coming in the future. But yes, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye, guys.